Hey guys, welcome to WhiskyWise with me, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 14, where we're going to be reviewing the Glenlivet Master Distiller Reserve Solera Vatted. So that was quite a long mouthful. I'm just shortening it all to MDR Solera Vatted. I'm going to continue on from the last video where I did review the standard MDR. Now these look like twins, they're from the same range. As you'll probably see over here, that's the standard MDR. I'll pop that over here in my bag. And this is a Solera Vatted, which actually just has it finished off into a Solera vat. Now, it is part of the travel retail. I did pick this one up in Heathrow as well. I pretty much fly through Heathrow quite a lot. So I do pick up so many whiskey. I think I have their selection at the airport in my house, which is maybe a good and a bad thing. I'm not too sure. I'll decide on it later. But we're going to get into the review. I'll pick that up later as well. So, the MDR Solera Vat. I'm actually going to pour myself a dram, but I'll go through it. So in terms of the age of this whiskey, it is a non-age stated whiskey, so it could be from 3 all the way, I think up to 18 in this one in particular. I just feel it's just much more rounded off. In terms of the actual ABV, this is bottled off at 40% ABV, so it is pretty much not got any natural richness. I think it is also going to be caramel coloured, but I'll get to that at the end of the sort of quotas as I go through my review. In terms of the casks they do use, and I'm going to show you the bottom of this one here, it does use the 3 casks, the traditional whiskey cask, the American oak cask, and also the ex-sherry cask, but just at the bottom over there, you'll see they state that they put it into a Solera vat, and that is to combine all the flavours together. So it just gives it that slight difference. And also this box, if you can't see, is slightly purple. Now that should have pretty much given it the purple. So that way you can distinguish it from the other one. Now in the Master Distiller Reserve range, you do have, I believe there is 3 in total: standard MDR, MDR Solera, and MDR Small Batch. So there is 3 altogether, and so far we're on number 2 for this review. So in terms of the company that, in terms of the distillery, it is Glenlivet Distillery. The parent company is Pernod Ricard, and also the region it is in is Speyside, Scotland. So the price I paid for that one, I paid, I think it was $54.99, and it is a 1 litre bottle, so I think that was not bad value for money. As you can see, pretty much only drank this much again. I really don't, once I buy a bottle, I drink like this much, literally a dram or 2, and that's about it. I really never really go back to my whiskies, so I need to sort of revisit them. Or if you guys would like, if you live in London, let me know, and I'll send some drams out, because I've got effectively too many bottles that there's no good in having whiskey unless you're sharing it. So that's my opinion, unless you drink a lot as well. In terms of exclusivity, this one is actually a travel retail exclusive. It is only available for travel retail. It has not gone into the domestic market yet, like the standard MDR, so that's a good thing. It's still exclusive, and also if you are flying through any airport that does have this, they should have tasting available. Because when I was in Glasgow, when I was in Washington, and when I was in recently Spain, they did have this all on for tasting. So they should have that for tasting in the airport, so you can also taste it as well and get your opinion, but I'm going to give my opinion in this review. Now, in terms of colouring, I believe there is caramel E150A. They don't state it on the back like Glenlivet do with pretty much all their whiskies. And I'll show you the back of the label if it does focus. You can pause the video. No mention of caramel colouring, so I presume there could be, because anything at 40% normally they do put caramel and then they chill filter it. So that's what I think on colouring. But I'll also have this in my WordPress and on my Twitter account, so be sure to follow those as well. Now, in terms of the colour of this whiskey, it does look fairly similar to the standard MDR. And the only difference is the Solera vat, which I'd go with like an antique gold. It's not really that super dark, but it does give you that goldy amber colour. More towards a gold, so I'm going to say more an amber, well, an antique gold. I'm going to go with as in colour. So we're going to get started. We'll nose the whiskey and give our impressions of it. So this whiskey is actually very sweet on the actual nose, and you can definitely get the influence from the Solera vat and the ex-sherry cask. I'm getting more or less like a toffee initial introduction. Reminds me when you open a pack of toffee and you sort of just get that initial sweetness aroma that comes off. That's what I'm getting straight away, and I'm also getting a slight fruitiness underneath, which I'm just going to work my way to. So I'm actually getting dry fruits, and well, actually stewed fruits. I'm actually going to change it to stewed fruits. It reminds me of more or less plums, your raisins, maybe a bit of cranberries, because giving that a little bit of freshness as well. And you're literally putting them in a pot, letting them stew for a little while in their own juices. That's more or less the sort of aroma that it's giving off. It's quite nice and sweet and very inviting. We're going to have another little bit at the end. Definitely also, yeah, it's sweet. Maybe a bit of brown sugar just at the end over there. So it's really, really nice whiskey, this one on the nose. Very inviting, I'd say, straight away from the off. So we're going to get into the palate next and really assess the whiskey for what we think what I think it tastes like. So into the actual palate for this whiskey. It's very, very different from the standard MDR. This one brings straight away to the palate. You're getting those, what I'd say is summer fruits, more like your cranberries, your raspberries, your blackcurrants. You're getting those, but at the same time you're definitely getting, oh actually let me mention the body of the whiskey. The body of the whiskey is also light medium, not too heavy. It does develop a slight creaminess to it, but it's not too much where it overchanges the full palate itself in general. But yeah, getting a slight little bit of sweetness. The fruits definitely there, toffee. It's really, really nice. I actually like this whiskey quite a lot. So we're going to have a second sip and assess it further. So, working it there on the second sip, I'm getting less of those fruits, but they're still there and present. And then it moves into a sweetness, and it sort of reminds me of sort of glazing icing over pancakes, but the icing sweetness, a little bit of maple syrup as well. No pancakes involved, but definitely maple syrup and a little bit of icing over there. It's giving that nice sweetness, really nice round character at the end. And it sort of reminds me of what I would say is a Werther's Original, when you're just having that nice character and just developing, and a little bit of a candied finish as well. Something that you can just close your eyes and just drink and just be, you wouldn't even think twice if you had to literally close your eyes and just try this whiskey on a blind tasting. That would probably be an automatic buy in my opinion. But really, really nice on the palate, really gentle, not really any heavy spice there. It's very, very light if it is, so to speak. But I really didn't find it so much. I found more or less the fruitiness does develop and really is there on the palate. Now I did get a slight citrus, and this is more or less a sweet citrus taste, and I'd say more like a candied orange peel, but still offering that little spray of zest just there on the end. So really, really nice whiskey. We're going to go into the finish of this whiskey and come to my final conclusion. On the conclusion, on the finish of this whiskey, you still get that little bit of sweetness that plays itself, but it does have a slight nuttiness to it, which does come back, and it sort of warms yourself up a little bit. So that in its sense is very similar to the MDR, where the finish does give you that slight nutty character. The other one gave peanuts and I think it was hazelnuts. This one I'm definitely getting like a creamy hazelnut sort of finish, but also with that sweet, rich fruit. And then also it's sort of working its way into, again, that toffee character, which I'm really enjoying quite a lot. So very, very nice finish on this whiskey. In terms of would it need water or not, I personally feel that would probably do it no justice. However, if you wanted to add a drop or two just to bring out a little bit, I wouldn't see any harm in doing so. But again, if you like to, if you don't like to, myself, I like to have my whiskey neat, and I really enjoy this one literally for all the tastes that it had. So in terms of actually this whiskey itself, I think it's a fantastic whiskey. It does have around about a medium finish. It doesn't go quite quickly, and I'm still feeling that little bit of sweetness, a little bit of creamy character as well. So that's one thing I really enjoyed. It is much more, in my opinion, in comparison to the standard MDR, an improvement. The Solera Vatted does benefit it. So in terms of what I think the whiskey deserves as a rating, I'm going to look up the table. The other one got, I think it was around about something in the low 80s. I'm going to give this one here, I hope this is visible, an 87 out of 100. So rate a bit more higher than the other one. Reason being, it just has that nice soft fruitier approach, and also much more palatable, drinkable, and much more inviting. So it doesn't give you that spicy character which I felt the standard MDR did. So that's for that reason I definitely rate this whiskey very well. And in terms of value for money, I definitely think it is. For 1 litre, getting for around about £55. can't really go wrong, because nowadays all whiskies without an age statement or with an age statement are going for up to around about £50. So I think that's quite well in there. So if you are traveling for an airport, give that one a try and let me know what you think. If you already have this whiskey, by all means leave your comments down below in the comment section and let me know what you thought. But I believe I'm going to wrap up the video here. So anyway, hopefully you guys are having fun with the whiskies. I'm going to wrap up the video here and we'll move on to the next review for tomorrow. But this has been Jason from WhiskyWise, and I'll catch you all for the next review.